Well, thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. We've been dealing with rain, lower temperatures, kind of chilly, Nathan. You know how I get, a little chilly out there. And some fog this morning, still some low clouds. So what are we dealing with for the rest of this Tuesday afternoon?
Good afternoon, Jurnee. Yeah, it is a wet Wednesday around the region. We are seeing quite a bit of rain still lingering across east and southeast Arkansas. We're starting to dry things out somewhat. From Little Rock and off to the west, there's still some areas of drizzle and also some fog, but at least the steady rain has marched its way just to the south and east of us. But it is moderate to heavy rain continuing. Pine Bluff, DeWitt, Stuttgart, Clarendon, Dumas, Monticello, Hampton, Camden, all the way down close to Texarkana. That will stick around through the course of the afternoon, so it's going to take some time for you folks to get the steady rain out and move into Mississippi and Tennessee. Also some areas of fog, and some of the fog is locally dense. Visibility down to a mile or less. Hot Springs, also Camden, so watch out for that as we go into the rest of the afternoon and also the evening hours. Temperatures, they're not moving much at all. Upper 30s, low 40s, and we have the wind chills out there. It feels like the 30s, so bundle up if you're going to be outdoors. That 46, that's a stretch. I think most likely we'll see temperatures climb up to around 42 or 43. Sunshine does return on your Thursday. I'll have more on that forecast coming up.
All right, Nathan, thank you. Well, Jefferson County employees will receive a paycheck after a 42-day budget dispute, which halted government operations. Senate Bill 182 provides a short-term fix while the county works out a permanent solution. It states any county that can't pass a budget by January 1st will use last year's budget in the meantime. For Jefferson County, that means operations can resume and employees can be paid until a resolution is made.
We also want to make sure that every step of the process is absent of anything that may intimidate or prohibit citizens or mislead or misinform citizens by gathering a signature under a false pretense.
Our apologies, that was the wrong sound there. Even with the stopgap measure in place, Jefferson County still needs a new budget for the new year. Until that happens under the new law, the county judge in quorum court will not receive pay. A major step in the fight for clarity surrounding the death of Sonya Massey. Former Sangamon County Deputy Sean Garrison shot her inside her home last year. 6 months later, a $10 million payout has been approved for her family. Under the settlement, the Massey family has agreed to drop any and all lawsuits.
We will not be raising taxes, we will not be issuing additional debt, and we will not be cutting services. We can handle this through what is in place in those reserves and allow us to do this on a cash basis and do it rather quickly.
As that plays out, the former deputy, Sean Garrison, continues to face criminal charges. A number of financial opportunities are being provided through the Arkansas Learns Act. A partnership between the Department of Education and the Reform Alliance aims to share the knowledge of available resources. Ashley Godwin explains.
So there's basically 4 types of school choice.
Now more than ever, parents have the option of where to send their child to school, whether it's public, private, charter, or homeschool. The Reform Alliance, a local nonprofit, and the Department of Education is now working to spread the word about school choice.
We wanted to give parents who are curious about education options the opportunity to come ask their questions, to come get information.
This includes things like scholarships and how the Learns Act can impact your child. This fall, every child can apply for an Educational Freedom Account, which allows families to have funding for their child's schooling. There's also a tax credit scholarship called the Philanthropic Investment in Arkansas Kids, also known as PIAC. This would be for families that are 200% under the federal poverty line. According to the Reform Alliance, an example of this would be a household of 4 with an income of less than $60,000.
That's what we're trying to do, is give every parent the option to figure out what's best for their child and where can their child best develop into their skills and become the confident person that they were created to be.
With less than 10% of students in Arkansas using school choice, officials are now hoping this helps parents know what's available to them.
Hopefully they can learn how to plug into different choice options, to learn more about what they may need for their child, and to find programs that can help assist them.
In Little Rock, Ashley Godwin, THV 11 News.
The decision to prohibit phone use during class hours is up before the state legislature. Today, we will learn if the Bell-to-Bell No Cell Act will pass through the House. Under the rules, students will be barred from accessing cell phones and smart watches. This, of course, implies only during regular class hours. The exception or exemption being for school-issued tablets or other devices. If it survives the Arkansas House, the bill returns to the state Senate for final approval. Also being debated in the Arkansas chambers, Senate Bill 207 through 212. Each will change petition rules for the ballot process. Under the proposals, petition signers will be required to adhere to a new protocol. It begins with reading ballot titles in front of canvassers. Then the signee would have to show legal ID and be informed on the consequences of petition fraud. Well, they say money can't buy you happiness, but that doesn't seem to be the case when love is in the air. But if you're having trouble finding the perfect match, you may need to check your pockets. Allison Gormley shares why.
Dating is difficult. Throw in some credit card debt, and 10% of Americans will say no thanks to your company. On the flip side,
90% of Americans don't consider credit card debt to be a deal breaker, which is great news if you're single and you have credit card debt.
NerdWallet found that for most Americans in the survey, the concerns are the amount of debt and your plans, or lack thereof, to pay the debt off.
Of the people that don't think it's a deal breaker, the average amount that would be a deal breaker is around $20,000.
But how do you find out that information about your new friend? Rathner suggests talking about money early and often.
If money talks go well with somebody that you're just beginning to date, even if you have debt, that's a good sign. That's a sign that both of you are coming into this relationship ready to be good partners to each other. But if those talks aren't going so well, it could be a sign of greater incompatibility.
That way, future talks about vacation costs, a house, and retirement are smooth sailing.
Together, 42 million Americans share a combined student loan debt total of $1.6 trillion. The department overseeing that massive bill is being threatened to be dismantled by President Trump. Such action will only be made possible through an act from Congress. Financial advisors, however, want borrowers to take caution regardless. It's recommended to make regular payments and be ready to provide proof in case of disruptions.
I'm directing everyone go to studentaid.gov, that's the federal website, and you want to start to actually grab the screenshot of all the information that is there. So that could be the loan amount, how much you've paid in, that could be the interest rate, that could be when it's due, and I think these are critical action steps to take to protect yourself.
For increased safety, practice safe record keeping. Changing passwords is good for safety as well as using two-factor authentication. A Garland County school district is rescinding its 4-day school week. We share the factors contributing to that decision ahead at 12:18.
And after another dreary day here in Central Arkansas, tomorrow sunshine does return for some parts of the region. Temperatures remain cold, but then it's a sweet treat on Valentine's Day. High 52 before things go downhill Saturday. We're watching out for potential strong, possibly severe thunderstorms. I'll let you know who has the best chance of seeing those spicy storms coming up.